The Material Hub Cloud isn't just a place for you to browse and extract material files for simulation. With its latest tools, you can generate your own material models directly from raw material testing data. I'm Alex Baker, and in today's advanced tips and tricks, we'll explore the material data fitting and the digital material generator to see how you can build your own custom material database. Once you've established an account on the Multiverse, you'll have access to a bunch of different tools. Most of us are already aware of the Material Database Viewer, which allows us to explore all of the materials that are available in the public database. This will give us a quality index as well as allows us to evaluate all of the different information that those materials possess. Another commonly used tool in the Material Hub Cloud is the Alternative Material Suggestion tool. This will take in input information. This could be from a spec sheet, and the output here will be a similarity percentage to materials that exist in the database, along with the quality levels that those materials possess. Those two tools are very commonly used, but there's some other tools in here that we have access to in addition to the material database itself. And the first one here is the material data fitting. The material data fitting tool allows us to fit raw data using a prescribed template. That data will be fit to our numerical model automatically. And then you can simply just port that over into our digital material generator to go and create your own material files straight away. The templates for this tool can actually be downloaded by just clicking over here on the left side. For example, for viscosity, we can see that it uses very simple information. So in this case, it uses 4 different temperatures. And then we have our shear rate versus viscosity data. You can have as many data points here. You would just need to expand this section. But as long as it fits this template, then this can be used as an input for the curve fitting. So for example, if I just go in and use that same template, I'll hit choose file. Here are those data points from the Excel. It's been read in automatically. We can see that the template material is a PE material. And after we've imported the material, it has already identified that. You'll want to pay attention to this, as not all of the CSV files that you could import would have this polymer type set. So make sure to set that properly. Once you've imported this data, we can hit data fitting, and it will fit this information to our numerical model, giving us the numerical coefficients that we need to input, for example, the cross model 3. Once these coefficients are created, I can hit download once again, and this will export a fitted version of that CSV file. The fitted version of that CSV file will be very similar to the input. Just at the bottom, we have our fitting result with all the numerical coefficients. This is very important because we're going to be importing this CSV file into the next operation to start creating our material file. I can do the same thing, for example, for PVT and crystallinity. These are the primary curve fitting strategies that we would need to employ. All of the rest of them are usually just input data. Things like the heat capacity, thermal conductivity are usually just data point inputs. And then mechanical properties are just a series of single point data to input directly. I can do the same thing, re-upload for PVT, data fitting, download the material, re-upload, and you can just rinse and repeat for all these different characteristics. Once I have all of that data, I can go over to the material data generator. There's 2 things that we can do in the digital material generator. You can either upload your material information and begin modifying that material information using the coefficients for our numerical model over here on the left side. But additionally, you can actually import the information that we just got from the curve fitting using the read fitting result button here at the top of our numerical coefficients table. First things first, I will set all of my parameters for this material. My polymer type, in this case, we'll use a PE material. Grade name can be what you want it to be. The default will always be generic, followed by the material type, followed by today's date. Supplier's name, I'll just say user. This could be whatever you want it to be. And then comment, I'll say test data. Down here at the bottom, I'll hit read fitting results, and we'll find the fitted CSV file from our previous section that will port in all of those numerical coefficients for us. You could just type these in manually if you wanted to, but you can remove the human error by just importing them automatically. I'll go over to PVT, read fitting results. I'll find the PVT fitted data, and then crystallinity, read fitting data, and we'll bring that guy in as well. The rest of this information, heat capacity, is a series of data point inputs. Thermal conductivity, a series of data point inputs. If you wanted them to be a singular value, you could do something like this. If there is a series of values, which if you've tested this material, there should be a series of values for heat capacity and thermal conductivity, then you can input those over here. Going over to mechanical properties, the values here are pretty straightforward. However, you do want to pay attention to whether you're using an isotropic material or an anisotropic material. You can click on the dropdown and select either isotropic or anisotropic. And then if it's a fiber-filled material, make sure to specify that here as well. If you choose to use a fiber-filled material, to the right of this dropdown, there will be a fiber property input where you can input your weight percentage and all of the different fiber properties associated. Viscoelasticity and structure viscoelasticity are pretty rarely tested for, with the exception of our material lab over in Taiwan. So we might input that information if we have it. If not, then this data will be input based on the polymer type that you select. It will use a default based on that material's family, and you can use that information. That has proven to be pretty consistent for us. And then for process conditions, these are your recommended processing ranges. These will appear in your material file and will impact the default process that's created when the user imports this material into their project. Over here on the right side are a bunch of parameter warnings. In this case, I imported a material data set that belonged to a different polymer type. And so we can see that it has flagged a lot of these values, indicating that they are abnormal to what this function expects for this material. That's fine for this test, but you'll want to pay attention and make sure that all of these warnings are cleared before you create your material file. That being said, once you have input all of your information, you can hit Save to My Cloud Bank. And when you do, it'll ask if you want to download this MTR material file. If you hit download, it will simply just download that material. And this is the file type that we would import into our project in Moldex3D Studio. This will also exist over in your My Cloud Bank. I'll go over to the private material section, and we'll see that the material that we just created is at the top of this list. This My Cloud Bank will be synced with the Moldex3D Studio's material wizard, and so you'll be able to access these materials from there as well. Thank you for watching this advanced tips and tricks. If you'd like to see other videos like this, you can subscribe to our Moldex3 North America YouTube channel to get notified of when videos like this get posted in the future. If you wouldn't mind leaving a like on your way out, we would greatly appreciate it. But otherwise, I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.